Welcome to the Maine Famous podcast. I'm your host, April Shaw-Beaudoin, and today I'm talking with Nick Krunkkala of Oysterhead Pizza down in Damariscotta, Maine. This is not your average pizza shop. You need to go there. You need to try the wings. You need to try the pizza. You need to feel the vibe. And definitely this summer, go enjoy the deck and the live music. Bonus points if you get there on July 4th and you get to watch the fireworks while doing all of that. We're going to jump right into the episode, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Simon Griffiths, President and CEO of Camden National Bank. Camden National Bank is celebrating 150 years of standing beside the people, businesses, and communities that make Maine and New Hampshire home. And at the heart of it all is you. Every step of the way has been made possible because of your support. Even as we've grown, one thing has remained: our deep commitment to the communities we serve. We're not just here to offer financial guidance. We're here to show up, lend a hand, and be a true partner through life's big moments and everyday milestones. We're especially grateful to Maine Famous for shining a light on the local businesses and neighbors who shape the heart of Maine. Thanks for being part of our story.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to jump right in. It's Oysterhead Pizza, but I want to talk about the wings. They are some of the best, I would say, in New England. How about you?
If you're saying they're the best in New England, I'll take it. Yeah, I try and make the best of everything that I possibly can. I'm trained classically in classic French cuisine, so pizza was not always something that I did, but like chicken wings was always something I really enjoyed. I always liked going to bars. When you turn 21, you go to bars and drink beer and eat chicken wings. So if I was going to do them, I needed to do them really well. And so that's what I'm doing with them now.
And how do you make your wings?
I can't tell you that. Come on.
I'm not asking for the recipe. But
no, I'm just kidding. So I have a smoker in the back of the restaurant. So one thing I should point out is I have a wood fire oven and a wood fire smoker, and that's all I have to cook with. I don't have a fryolator, nothing like that. So I smoke them for about 3 to 4 hours in butter. And then to order, I reheat them in the wood fire oven. So every morning we start the smoker up, and that's what we start with first thing. That's the first thing we cook, is we start that smoker up and we start going on wings. And I pretty much sell out every day. And it's become kind of an issue in the summertime. I sell out way too early. It kind of makes us look not great. Sometimes I sell about like 4 o'clock. So I'm in the process of having a custom smoker built for me right now. Whoa. It should be done like any day now. So for people listening, I'll have a lot more wings available in the spring and summer coming up and going forward. So hopefully I won't sell out.
And you do a lot of different types of marinades. Is that the right word?
I do all sorts of different sauces. Everything is something I create myself. I'm a big believer in making everything in-house. So all my sauces are pretty unique. I make a bunch of different hot sauces, a bunch of different barbecue sauces. So not necessarily marinades, just different sauces.
Sauces, okay.
Yeah, and I take a lot of pride in that. That's a big thing of mine.
Do you have an all-time favorite that you've made?
Not really. I would say the one that sells the most is it's called the 36 Chambers on the menu, and that's a maple sticky soy. That's something I created years ago when I was like a young gun chef. I was a young gun like sous chef in New York. I created that sauce for a duck wing, I believe, or a pork. It was a pork dish that I did. I created that sauce, and it's something that has stuck with me forever. And it's now on the menu at Oysterhead. But I mean, I have 4 sauces, and then I have one listed as the wing of the day, and that's just something I'll come up with. It'll run for 3-4 days, maybe just one day. those are a lot of fun. When you see those, get that. If you see something and whoever the counter person is, or if you see me like nod to you, try that one, because that's usually where my mind is at the time. If I like just got back from a trip, I will take any sort of any kind of culinary experience I have and create a sauce that way. There's another business in town that has a lot of really interesting ingredients from different places around the world, and I'll take a lot of influence from that place. So pretty much any special, and then the 36 chambers would be the two.
I'm sure people are
started
taking note
towards.
as they're listening to this. I always love to chat with people about how they got to Maine. I know you and I are both from Southern Maine.
Yeah.
I grew up in Gorham. You grew up in Cape Elizabeth. When we discovered this, you played many of my classmates in basketball, correct?
Basketball, soccer. They did not have lacrosse at the time, so I would have beat them in that. But probably every Saturday growing up, from the time I was like 8 years old to high school, I probably played against somebody you grew up with on some sort of sports field. Soccer, basketball. Basketball, you guys always beat us in basketball.
We were the best.
Pretty much had the edge on you, though. But like I said, you guys did not have lacrosse. But yeah, I grew up in Cape Elizabeth, and I went to college in New York, and I ended up staying down there for a while.
That's right. I think it's so interesting. So many of the people that we've had on the podcast grew up in Maine, and I've heard people say, get out of Maine. You need to get out of Maine to appreciate how amazing this state is. And that was my experience. I left and went to Boston. I lived on the seacoast of New Hampshire for a long time. And then there was just this magnetic force pulling me back to Maine. And I wonder if you had that same feeling. I know you were working in big restaurants in New York City. I think one of the stories you told me was that so many of the people that came to your restaurant in New York City would save up for 6 months. And so it was a big night out. It was very special. It was very fancy. But you wanted to create a place that you could see people every week.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually a really good point. It was, I worked in some really fancy places, some not so fancy places. But yeah, I worked at places that, the dishwashers, the line cooks couldn't afford to go to. The basic average person couldn't really afford to go to. I wanted to, with Oysterhead Pizza, I wanted to create something that my children could go to, their friends could go to, and I could see people will eat there 3 nights a week, 5 nights a week, 6 days a week. Well, I might see the same person every single day. Whether they're just coming in to get a $5 slice of pizza, a drink, or getting a whole pizza for their family. I think that's really special. If you're creating something that people can come to all the time, as opposed to like you said, like I said, you have to save up months in advance to go to. I mean, those places are really nice. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I love that. I love cooking that type of food. I miss cooking that type of food, but, I like what I'm doing. I like where I am right now.
And you've brought back a lot of the things that you learned, and you bring it into your menu. It's not just a pizza place. Let's talk about the menu and your approach to food.
So it's really important to me that I create everything myself. Not myself. Like I have a very good staff, and I've taught them, and they have taught me a lot of things. But if I'm going to do anything, if I'm going to cook professionally, everything has to be made in-house. And anybody that knew me up and coming 10 years ago, they never would have seen me running a pizza shop. And that's fine by me. But like if they saw they do see the amount of work that goes into it. Mm-hmm. I'm talking, I have people in there making dough at 5 a.m. every single day. The sauce gets made every single morning. The sausage, we grind that, make that every day. We make everything in house, but the pizza cheese and the pepperoni. And the only reason why we don't is because we go through way too much of it. It would just be absolutely impossible. But like we even make our own ricotta cheese, everything. And that's very valuable to me.
Yeah.
If you see me 5 years from now and I'm not doing that, then I have given up. Then I don't care anymore. So
Noted.
yeah.
One of the other things that I remember from our interview, because you were in our last book, The Insider's Guide to Mid-Coast Maine, is
Yep.
you do have a significant number of employees. So you are mentoring and you paying. How many people are on your staff?
Right now I have 11 people, and that goes up to about 15, 16 in the summertime. I have a pretty good pipeline with the high school in town, Lincoln Academy.
Mm-hmm.
I employ a lot of high school kids, and they'll stay with me right up until they go to college. And then I have some like up and coming, hardworking line cooks that turn into sous chefs that go off to do their own thing. I had one kid that worked for me since he was 16. I think I was his first kitchen job he ever had, and he just went off and opened up his own food truck last summer.
Oh, wow.
Which is really exciting for me. That's the ultimate goal for a chef, is to have somebody, to teach somebody enough that they can go off and do their own thing. And I was really excited for him to do that. And for him to, take some of he didn't take any ideas from me, culinary ideas from me. He might have like taken some of the influence
Mm-hmm.
and done his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But to see somebody go off and to succeed like that, that's the ultimate goal. And I never get upset if somebody leaves to better themselves. I want them to work for me and then to leave bettering themselves, putting themselves in a better position, career-wise and life-wise. And that's the ultimate.
What do you want to call out that food truck? Is he going to be back around?
Yeah, he'll be back around. That's Yeti Boys food truck. That's Aiden Gallagher and his buddy Farhat. I forget his last name, but Yeti Boys. They are they're in the mid coast, in the greater Damariscotta area, is where they conduct themselves.
They conduct themselves. Speaking of Damariscotta, one of the other things that I always like to explore in the podcast is, why did people end up where they did? So you were on the coast in southern Maine and Cape Elizabeth. Now you're in Damariscotta. What pulled you to this region?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I moved back. So I lived in New York for 10 years, and I moved back. To touch on what we were saying before, yeah, it is important to get away, but yes, you kind of like, you want to come back. You have that sense of wanting to come back. So I got a job in Rockland, at Fog Bar Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
They opened up on Main Street. And so I was their opening chef there. And then I moved down to Portland. I worked in Portland, and then I kind of got tired of Portland. I just wasn't all that psyched about it.
Hmm.
And so I got a job in Booth Bay, and Damariscotta was just like the perfect in between, easy to get to, good school systems, good food scene, good people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what led me to Damariscotta, and I just like being on the coast, and the river itself, the region of itself, Damariscotta. It's kind of like the breadbasket of Maine. The farms are unbelievable. Oysters are world class, and and then you have lobsters not far away. So you kind of have the best of everything right there at your hands.
And did you work at Oysterhead before you owned Oysterhead?
Yeah. So I was originally the general manager, chef, and the plan was for me to basically buy them out, the owners out, after a certain period of time, and it just happened earlier than expected, and here we are.
And was it Oysterhead back then, or did you?
Yeah, it was always Oysterhead.
I think there's a fun story behind the name.
Well, yeah. So Oysterhead so the original owners were big fish fans, and Oysterhead is a band with Trey Anastasio from Fish, Stuart Copeland from The Police, and Les Claypool from Primus. Super funky band. Also, Damariscotta is the oyster capital of the world right now. So they were like, all right, let's play off the oyster. Let's play off this. So Oysterhead became the name. Um, if I would have opened it up, probably would have been a different. I would have gone with a different name. But I had already built something, and I was already the face of the place anyway. So I wasn't going to change the name. So I just kept it as is.
And you have a lot of zany, I'm going to use that word, names for the menu items.
Yeah.
And everything has a story behind it, the decor in there. And I do want to talk about it. How many people can sit in the restaurant?
So let me think here. I
know it's different in the summer and the winter because you have the deck.
Yeah, I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. So I have one big like community table that can comfortably fit 10 people. Sometimes you can get like 12, 14 people. Then at the bar, you can fit about 8 people. Then I have another table that fits 3 people. So that's the inside. And then outside, I have 6 picnic tables outside. And so I can fit a good amount of people in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did a rehearsal dinner a couple years ago, and it was 250 people.
Oh,
I never would have thought that I could fit that many people, but I did. And I also have music out there, and on Sundays in the summertime, I'll have like 70 to 75, 80 people out there on the deck and on the front patio.
You can go and enjoy, your pizza or your dish with alcohol.
Yep, I have a full liquor license.
Okay.
And I'll play with some cocktails more in the summertime and later at night. And then I have a really, really fun beer menu. I won't say it's a beer list because it changes every week. So there's beers that I won't see. I'll see one week and then I'll never see them again. So I'll order them. So I don't even really bother printing out a beer menu anymore. I'm just like, here, this is what I have. So I run about 35 different cans of beer. My tap line, I only have 2 taps, but I have a lot of really funky canned beer.
All right. So I went off on a tangent there, but I want us to get back to all of the menu items and the way you name things.
The names. Okay,
and the decor. Yeah. The decor is really fun too.
So yeah, I'm kind of an oddball. My brain just works really strange. So I named the pizzas after really obscure movie references, music references, all sorts of weird stuff. So like the Angelo Pappas pizza is a meatball pizza. I named that after Gary Busey's character in Point Break. There's a scene when they're on stakeout and he says, there's a sandwich place down the street that sells the best meatball subs. I want you to go down there and get me 2. And then he reiterates, get me 2. So anyway, that the meatball pizza is named the Angelo Pappas after him. My spin on a Hawaiian pizza, I do house-made bacon, fermented house hot sauce, shishito peppers. So that's a Hawaiian pizza. I named that the Thomas Sullivan Magnum III, which is, if anybody knows, that's Magnum PI. That took place in Hawaii. So a lot of fun stuff like that. And then I've done a lot of work with like different artists around the country. I'm a big Seinfeld fan, big Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. So I have an artist that does like Seinfeld scenes. So I have the picture of Kramer drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette at the same time. I have a painted picture of that. I have Larry David sitting on a bagel. I have that picture of Gary Busey holding up the 2 fingers for the Utah Gimme 2. I have that painted picture in the restaurant. I had a really, really cool artist from Los Angeles who was living in Boothbay at the time. He designed my my logo, It's like there's like 27 different colors in it. It's all like bubble art. And then he did the mural behind the bar. So if you go in there, there's this like splatter art with pizzas, and there's a big thing of there's a big 3D print of Slimer from Ghostbusters on there. I also have the leg lamp from the Toy Story in the window. Um, I'm not like a big fan of. Um, did I say Christmas Story or Toy Story? Christmas Story. The leg lamp from Christmas Story.
Okay. Yeah, you said
I am
Toy
not
Story.
I'm not a big fan of that movie. It's just something I watch on Christmas, but I got it in the mail one day, like 15, 16 years ago. I got it in the mail randomly around Thanksgiving time. I had no idea where it came from. I didn't really think anything of it. And then I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's for me. That's your Christmas present." I was like, "Wow." And like I never, was able to live with anybody that allowed me to have the leg lamp in the front window of our house. So I was pizza shop, perfect place for it. So I have that. I have that there, and it's all just like goofy stuff. It's all kind of like if you go to my actual house, my actual house is kind of a mess. I'm like always in disarray. I have 2 kids, and I'm like always rushing. But if you go into the restaurant, that restaurant is designed like I designed the whole thing, and it's like that's how my mind is. The bathroom has all sorts of graffiti art all over the bathroom, the back wall, and all the funky art with the different movies and things like that.
It's a vibe.
Yeah,
It's a vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
We're recording this in March, and it snowed last night, and it feels like summer is going to be a million years from now. But thankfully, the seasons do change pretty quickly. And once we get into May, do you start opening that deck up? And when do you start bringing the live music?
So, I mean, the deck's open right now. If you want to
okay.
go down there and grab a beer and put it in the snow and eat wings and pizza outside, go right ahead. So the deck is open year round, but yeah, summertime is coming right up. I do live music on every Sunday. I have the same band. It's Papa Tim and the Whiskey Throttle Band, they're called, and they play from 3 to 6 every Sunday, and that is a lot of fun. They're really good. They set up right in the front patio, so it's like they're on the sidewalk on Main Street, and there's people are walking around downtown Damariscotta, sitting at the library, sitting in the bank yard, just watching. And that's a lot of fun. I've got some things planned this summer where I plan on doing like kind of like street food Saturdays and Sundays when music is playing. So I have, like I said before, I'm having a custom built smoker, so that will open things up to a little bit more like barbecue. And then I have a wood-fired grill that I'm going to have outside. So look for like wood-roasted veggie side plates, maybe some burgers, steaks, different type of like pinchos, like chicken, street food, things like that. That is something I'm really looking forward to this summer. And I usually will kick that off like Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
It's kind of the kickoff. That's when I feel like summer hits. And then there's that big gap in between.
The 4th of July.
The 4th of July landed on a Friday last year or a Saturday. I think it was a Friday or Saturday. But I had music during the 4th of July. So when the fireworks were going off, I had a band out front, and that was really something special. I plan on doing that same thing again this year. But the vibe totally changes in the summer, just like anything in Maine.
One of the things that you haven't really directly said, but I know is true, is that you are an anchor for the community. You do provide jobs for teenagers in town. You provide career paths and mentoring, as I mentioned. But it's just a community hotspot where I think tourists feel as welcome as the locals, which isn't always true of a neighborhood spot. And I think I think you just have created something really unique. And actually, I want to say this too. I have lived in Camden for several years, and somebody reached out to me when it was Camden Famous before we rebranded to Maine Famous, and their username was Bay Area Pizza Reviews. And it was all about pizza in California. And this person reached out to me and said, "How have you not done a full feature on Oysterhead Pizza? It's the best pizza in Maine. It's ridiculous that you haven't covered them." And so I was like, okay, if this guy from California is calling me out, I got to go try it. And sure enough, it was amazing. And so I want to talk about, you have the deep dish pizza, and then you have the regular pizza.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do deep dish. I do it differently. I don't do like a Sicilian style, or it's not really a Chicago style or Detroit style. People ask me what it is, and I'm like, it's Damariscotta style. So I cook the deep dish in a cast iron, and I cook it 3/4 of the way, and then I put the cheese on the outside, so it gets this like nice frico crust on the outside, and it puffs up. It's a little bit smaller, but I use a large size dough for it, so it's pretty filling, but it's really good. That's something I created a couple winters ago, and I had to keep that on the menu, so I just went out and bought a bunch of cast irons and did that, and people love it. People love that. And thank you, Bay
Area
Shop.
Pizza.
That's great. That's awesome.
Well, funnily enough, we ended up discovering later on that guy has a summer place on our road in Camden. So he would come up in the summers, and he's a big foodie, and so he would always go around and he's like, "This is the only pizza in Maine that I love."
I love it. I love it.
And you can go in at lunchtime and at dinner and just grab a slice of pizza, which is unique to the Mid-Coast. There's not a lot of places in the Mid-Coast where you can just get a slice. You have to order the whole pizza, which, the prices as they continue to blow up, that can be $30. So it's great to be able to, how much does a piece of pizza cost?
So a slice of cheese is $4, and I've kept it at that since we opened 6 years ago.
Wow.
Before COVID. And, especially slices $5 and change. And I think that's important. I don't know that you really need to be charging anybody more than $5 for a slice of pizza. It is 2 slices of pizza. I should remind you that. And so it's actually it's a quarter of a pizza. But yeah, I try and keep it affordable, especially with prices the way they are. I can go to the grocery store and get food for my daughter and I, and it can be way too much money, but I can also, somebody can get a pizza and potentially feed 2 to 3 people, and it costs less than it does to actually make something at home. And I think that that's really important. I don't want to price myself out, and I think that in today's economic world and everything like that, I think it's really important to offer affordable, good food at affordable prices. And that's hard to do, especially when you make everything in-house like we do.
Yeah. Is it really important to you to source locally?
I try and source locally as much as I can. I have there's a farmer that I've been using since I moved back to Maine 13 years ago, Morning Dew Farm. They are right up the street, so they're about a mile away from the shop. So a lot of my produce in the summertime comes from about a mile away from the shop.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And that's something I've been doing for forever. And that's just a really important thing to do. And it's like a chef's dream to have everything grown within a mile radius of the operation.
One thing I like to ask business owners, in particular restaurant owners, is what has been a lesson you've learned along the way that if you could have gone back and learned that year one would have made a big difference for you? Because a lot of people that listen are aspiring business owners or people who are, they're in small business in Maine. There's so many small businesses here in the state. And I always want to try to share some of that wisdom forward.
Probably just because you think it's a good idea doesn't mean everybody else thinks it's a good idea. And learn to listen to the clientele as much as possible. Don't be too stubborn. Be stubborn because that's what's going to drive you, but learn from what works and what doesn't work. That would be my biggest thing.
All right. So we just talked about your advice for aspiring business owners. Let's talk about your advice for people the first time they're coming into your shop. What do they need to order? We haven't talked about the desserts, actually. And your desserts are
okay.
All
right. So I would say chicken wings you have to try. If you like deep dish pizza, get the deep dish pizza. I have a lot of vegetarian and vegan options on the menu as well. My favorite pizza is the Angelo Pappas or the Thomas Sullivan Magnum that I mentioned before. That'd be my two favorite pizzas. Desserts, yes. I have Lilia Hayford works for me. She's been working for me for 5 years. And she is in charge of all the desserts. She oversees the dough making process too. Okay. So that's her thing. And she left for a little while to kind of do something else, and then she came back, and I was like, let's open it up. Go crazy. Make as many crazy things as you want. And she's doing wood-fired donuts, cakes, cookies, everything. And she follows the same principle that I do, where we make every single thing in house, and everything is cooked in the wood fire oven. And they're really amazing.
Yeah.
That's another thing we sell out of all the time.
Yeah, I like to take our dessert to go when I come because I'm stuffed. I'm totally stuffed after lunch or dinner, but the desserts are amazing.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm going to get to the lightning round questions in just a moment.
Okay.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Taking care of your home just got easier. Porch Roofing is a full-service exterior company providing roofing, gutters, exterior services, and a full repair division, all with one trusted team. Visit horchroofing.com or call 207-250-5529. Samples Shipyard in Boothbay Harbor is one of Maine's most iconic working waterfronts. They handle wooden boat restoration, modern yacht service, and everything in between. It's a place built on generations of craftsmanship. Contact them now about moorings, dockage, service, and storage. Come walk the wharf at Lyman Morris. Grab a coffee at Vacation Land, pick up a board from Camden Charcuterie, sip a cocktail at Blue Baron, and then head upstairs to Salt Wharf for dinner. And don't rush off. Stay for the sunset. It's the sunny side of Camden Harbor.
All right, we're back. Are you ready?
Yeah, all right, bring it on. Let's go.
Favorite pizza topping combo?
Pineapple and sausage.
Okay. Beer or wine with pizza?
Beer.
Detroit style or New York slice?
Both.
Best late night food besides pizza?
Chinese food.
Ooh. And favorite restaurant in Midcoast, Maine that isn't yours?
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Come on. I'm going to upset so many people. I really like Bread in the Bone in Damariscotta. They do a very good job.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. That's fun.
We did it. That was awesome.